We can start the recording.
She'll know.
Okay, so, well, thank you for coming. This is the 10-year anniversary of this workshop, and in the 10 years we've been doing this, minus 3 years for COVID. We have had 2 people and we have had 20 people, so every year it just kind of depends, and it's okay either way. So inshallah, this year they've decided to record this for anybody who couldn't make it today. So welcome to everybody. My name is Jen Crooker. I am a certified health education specialist. I have my bachelor's in public health from EMU, and I'm currently doing my master's in public health at MSU. Today I am here as myself. I do not work for WIC. I do not work for the Washtenaw County Health Department, and I am not here on behalf of my employer today either. So just an important note that the only people here who represent WIC or the Washtenaw County Health Department are Erica and I don't know who else was planning to, and Siham, right, that's right. So I am here today as myself, and we've been doing this now for 10 years, and it's always been a really fun time. So another disclaimer I need to give you is that we are not medical professionals, and we are not your doctor, and Amali Doctora, and I cannot give medical advice. None of us here can give you medical advice. I cannot tell you that you can or cannot fast. I cannot tell you that you should or should not fast. That is a discussion that you need to have with your doctor and people who know your medical condition. We are also not qualified to give any religious rulings here. I do have a Sharia background. However, usually at this group we have actually had a mixed group of even Sunni and Shia mothers. And so if you have questions, you can ask me later, or you can ask the religious leader that you feel comfortable bringing your questions to. And some of the issues that may come up usually when we talk about what do you need to do, let's say, to make up your fast, if you break your fast, those are things that there are often differences of opinion on, and so you will want to consult the people that you feel comfortable consulting about that. So what we talk about today is we talk about how to balance observing Ramadan alongside breastfeeding, pregnancy, and taking care of young children, right? Because this is a really difficult time sometimes, because as mothers, we have to take care of our children, we have the household, we have cooking, we have meals, and then we're also fasting. So one of the things that I like to start out talking about is that Ramadan is not about suffering. Sometimes when we talk about Ramadan, we tend to say things like, oh, Ramadan is so we can feel what it's like to be poor, or so we can learn to control ourselves. And this is actually not what the Quran says. The Quran says that the purpose of Ramadan is لِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so that you may declare the greatness of God because of what He's given you, and so that you can give thanks, okay? So one of the things I want to start with is for everyone to understand that Ramadan is not about suffering. It should be about joy and growth and feeling lighter and better. So when we talk about these things, I want everyone to understand that when we're observing Ramadan as mothers, it is not our job or responsibility to see how much we can suffer and how hard we can make it for ourselves. It is okay, and it is encouraged in Islam to make things easier for ourselves so that we can be healthier and stronger. So what we usually do is we talk about 3 areas where, make it like this, I guess. 3 areas that form a triangle. I'll draw this triangle here. So this is Ramadan. I'll write it in Arabic. So when we experience Ramadan, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did you want to pause to translate for her?
She said, like, if you can speak in Arabic.
definitely can't do the whole thing. Plus they're filming me and that would be very embarrassing.
إذا ما بتفهمي شيء just حكيني وأنا بترجم لك. Okay.
Yeah,
So
we can.
If you feel comfortable, if you want to go
No
extra.
problem. She can do. She has more
Okay.
experience than
Sure.
me. And I told her if you want to know something, I will just like tell you in Arabic.
And I was gonna say, if you wanted to kind of summarize what Jen had shared for
Yes.
the client here, but also anyone on film too,
Yes.
You can do that as well if you feel comfortable
No
with that.
problem. I will just like do the
Okay.
translate for her.
Sure.
إذا يعني هي بتحكي وأنا بترجم.
Okay, yeah, especially because there's only
Yes,
one person here
yes,
today.
sure, yes.
That's probably okay.
Sure.
Okay, so this triangle represents our experience of Ramadan. And so there's usually 3 parts that we want to balance and complete to complete this triangle, okay? So the first part up here is gonna be our physical health.
Physical health is mean like
Saha. Saha. Did I spell that right? I may not have spelled that right. And over here is our spiritual life. يعني الروح والدين. Let's just say, like our experience, right? Nobody wants to go into Ramadan and say, oh, I'm so unhealthy this year, I don't feel well, and then I'm gonna miss out on all of Ramadan, right? And then over here, we have community, family, kids, etc. Okay? Can't remember how I would say that in Arabic. So, as women, as moms, right, we have to think about our physical health, right? When we're breastfeeding, for example, when we're pregnant,
صحتك أولى.
we may or may not be able to fast, and so, but in addition, because we're doing other things in Ramadan, we're staying up at night praying, we may get tired, we may get exhausted, we may wonder if if we're breastfeeding, if the quality of our milk is going to suffer. If we're pregnant, is it safe or not for us to fast? Or sometimes you find that it's okay, maybe it's safe for you to fast, but you feel too tired
Yes.
to work or to do anything else, right? So, and then this part over here is about being still able to do some of the things of Ramadan, right? Nobody goes into Ramadan and wants to miss out on the blessings of Ramadan,
Yes.
right? So for example, if you are not able to fast, a lot of times you feel like Ramadan doesn't feel right? It feels different. So even if you're unable to fast, what are some of the ways that you can still participate in all of the good feelings of Ramadan, even if you're not able to fast or if you're taking care of young children or you're pregnant? And then finally we have the community, the family, the kids, etc. These are all the people who rely on us as moms.
صومي أولاد وإنك هنا كنساء يعني بتتعب وبتاخذي care of your يعني أولادك الآخرين وبتشتغلي وبتطبخي هذا اللي بتقوله.
And this is all of the people that come to rely on us as moms, right? Moms, we're usually responsible for taking care of everyone. We're taking care of ourselves. We're taking care of the babies that we're carrying. We're taking care of the babies that we have outside. We have all of the other children. We have to usually cook a lot of times for the husband, and sometimes we want to invite people or participate in the community or with the family, or people have in-laws living with them. So this is also part of balancing in Ramadan, because you also can't sit in your house by yourself, right? And then never take care of anyone, or, and you want to be part of the community. Being part of the community and having meals together is part of what makes Ramadan special, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some of the ways that we can make sure that we are balancing and taking care of ourselves in each one of these points of the triangle. And so usually when we have a lot of people here, and some years we've had a lot of people, we would kind of open the floor up and say, pick which one you would like to talk about first.
Yes.
What are some things that you do to help take care of your physical health in Ramadan? So for example, what kinds of foods do you like to eat that help fuel you? And you guys have a handout, right, in English and Arabic, that talks about some healthy food choices. And are you a registered dietitian?
I am.
Yes, okay. So we do have a registered dietitian here who can give us some good advice about, good science-based advice about healthy foods to eat. So we can just start actually, and you can إذا بدك تحكي عن الأكلات المفضلة بتحبي تاكلي برمضان يعني تقويكي يعني شو الأكلات what are the foods that make you feel stronger and healthier in Ramadan?
احنا بالحقيقة يعني العرب يعني ما عندنا يعني اختيار عندنا نفس المنيو تبع رمضان بيبقى شوربة and second سلطة. So usually it's healthy food. يعني احنا اللي ناكله healthy food لسه غير في رمضان. يعني كل على ايام السنة ولا ايام الاسبوع بناكل healthy food. هي بتقول انه I think هي بتقول انه احنا برمضان ما عندنا خيار يعني نفس الاكل اللي بينعاد على كل.
So it's like the culture you expect to eat certain foods.
Usually we eat healthy food. It's not in Ramadan. It's always
all the time.
We're making food at home, own food. We're not eating from frozen or something like pizza or junk food.
Right, you eat
We're
fresh
not
food.
eating that usually. That's what she said.
I'm gonna start writing over here. Actually, let me change colors to better to see. Okay, so fresh. You cook fresh.
Yes.
Fresh foods.
Yes.
So what are some of the types of foods that you eat? You mentioned shorba soup,
Shorba,
right?
yes.
What kind of soup? I know I'm in a shorba. Adas, right? Every year, I think when we've done this, we spend about 20 minutes talking about shorba adas, about lentil soup, right?
Yes.
So how do you prepare your lentil soup? And lentil soup is amazing because it's rakhis, right? It's inexpensive. It's so healthy. Talk to us about lentils, Erica, from the perspective of the dietitian. What are the health benefits of eating lentils?
There are multiple health benefits. It's has protein, and also it's got healthy carbohydrates, so it helps keep us full for longer. It's got the fiber in there.
بالصحن عندك بروتين وكربوهيدرات تكون كربوهيدرات صحية رش السكر وسكريات بس بدها تقول أرز وشعير وقمح.
And it's also a great source of iron too.
Yes. ولأنه في العدس يحتوي على الحديد.
So, how do you make? You're from Algeria. How do you make lentil soup, or what kind of soup do you make, or what kind of
Algeria,
spices you
have
put?
We are usually making lentil soup, but usually in my country we are eating shorba. It's called frik.
Okay.
It's kind of broad.
Yes.
And with all fruits and kind of protein, with chicken or meat. And then after that we mix all together and then we get a soup where we put in her onion, garlic, carrots, and sweet potatoes, and all kind of we put parsley too, so and meat. And then we just mix it. After that we mix it. And borol, sometimes it's called frik, but it's kind of borol.
Right, freaky,
Yes.
freaky, yeah.
Yes.
So it has that soup sounds like it has everything in it, right?
Yes.
It has your vegetables,
Yes.
it has your grains, it has your protein and your meat, and it has some hydration, right? Some water, to help. وانت يعني شلون بتحضري شوربة عدس بأي يعني خضار او تحطي
onion
good, yep.
meat
Onions and meat مع العدس.
مو مع العدس بس.
Yeah, أي نوع من اللحمة? What kind of meat do you put?
لحمة خشنة beef or
ground beef,
yes,
yeah. So that's so and you eat the same thing every تاكلي نفس الشيء يعني كل
مرات عدس أو مرات شوربة خضار.
شوربة خضار, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, so lentils and vegetable soup. Yeah, vegetable soup. أي نوع من الخضار بتحبي؟
بنجيبها زروفة جاهزة بتيجي.
Yeah. So Okay, so what else, how about in sahur time? What's in the morning? What's something that you guys like to eat that helps you feel stronger and prepared for the day?
It's different when I was pregnant. It's different for me because usually when I wasn't pregnant, I usually like taking like milk and then with something like tamar, date too, and like that kind of that. But لما كنت pregnant, when I was pregnant, it's different. So
Did you fast when
days.
you were pregnant?
Yes.
You did, all the time or?
Yes, all the time. My
Oh,
doctor said like,
wow, that's,
whenever you want, but I did it, and then like it was easy. Honestly, it was easy for me. So, but I'm not like possibly here to say like fast or not fasted.
Right.
It's like you have to ask your doctor, and like your doctor can just like see if you are eligible to fast or not. But I'm talking about my experience.
right, yep, you had a good
In my
experience
plates,
doing that, yeah.
I was always having 3 of them, like proteins, carbs, and then fruits and vegetables.
Proteins, carbs,
Always,
fruits and
yes,
vegetables, every
yes,
meal, yeah.
Every meal. Yeah.
How about water? How did you do with water?
I am always like after fasting, I'm
Mhm.
always like keeping hydrated and drink a lot of juice, water a lot,
Mhm.
and then eating some fruits too, like watermelon and apples. That's why make me like
Yeah, what can you tell us, Erica, about fruits and hydration and some good ways to stay hydrated?
Yeah, water is certainly helpful for hydration. And really, you know, if you struggle with water too, which can happen in pregnancy or in breastfeeding, finding a way to hydrate. So if you find that you can't tolerate water, you can try like carbonated, or if you need a little juice, whatever works best as far as drinking water. But certainly fruits and vegetables, they've got water in them too, so eating those foods are a great way to stay hydrated too.
make a fresh juice too. It's healthy, like with no sugar, just like.
Oh,
fresh
you squeeze your own
yes.
fresh juice. What kinds of juices do you make?
Always it's like different kind, but I'm always like put some apples and then orange, and yeah, that's it.
How do you make them? Do you have like a machine
Yes,
or?
I have a machine.
Yeah, like
Yes, it's healthy.
the kind that can squeeze, citrus squeezer?
Yes.
Like, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
I like it with no sugar, honestly. I don't like juice from markets because they have a lot of sugar in them. So
yeah.
honestly, I don't eat this one, but I make my own juice.
right. So you
Yes.
try to limit your sugar. And I think in the past we've talked about limiting sugar in Ramadan. Do you have anything you can share, Erica, about sugar? I know a lot of people find that sugar makes them thirstier. That also it kind of causes spikes in your blood sugar. What are some ways that we can help with blood sugar spikes and keeping stable?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of things is really just so I'd say 2 great things to have are when you do have any sort of carbohydrate, just making sure it's the complex kind. So that can be like your whole grains, that can be like lentils and beans are included with that, and fruits and vegetables too. And then having some protein as well. That helps us slow down how quickly we digest whatever food we are eating. So any of those carbohydrates are slowly released in our body.
Nice, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we say about food? Do you guys have anything else that you like to share about? How about with breastfeeding? Have any of you experienced fasting while breastfeeding? You have? Yes?
Always here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Yes. Honestly, in the first 6 months, I don't recommend it. Like in the
Yeah.
first 6 months when the baby just like take your breast.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't recommend it. In my experience,
Right.
because like you feel like so tired, and then you feel like it's not a life of milk. You have to just like drink.
Right.
It's making me like I don't.
Yeah.
I try to do it, but when my baby was after 6 months, before 6 months, honestly, I didn't. I was just like trying one time, but I feel I could like feel no comfortable for me.
Yeah.
Because like my baby just need to like rest all time, and then
Right.
I was feeling like I didn't have enough milk.
Right.
So لما كنت يعني برضع وأنا like كان عندي البيبي وأنا كنت بصوم قبل ال6 أشهر ما بنصحك إنك ترضعي، لأنه البيبي بياخد كل المأكولات منك أنت. إذا كان يعني أنت بترضعي بحليبك بينقص بيجف وأنت تحسي روحك like tired، يعني كتير تعبانة. So after 6 months يعني انت كل حال وحاله، يعني كل حالة وشو بيخرج عليك. بس قبل ال6 أشهر ما بنصحك، لأن البيبي كل شيء بياخذه من عند الأم. إذا أنت ما بتتغذيه البيبي ما في منين بيتغذي.
So it's super normal to have like your supply drop off,
Yes.
especially like in the afternoon, in the
Yes.
later part of the day. And a lot of that actually has to do with your hydration levels, but depending on, you know, how long the fasting day is, of course, you know, Ramadan
Yes.
was coming out of the
yes.
summer now.
Yes.
It can be easier now that we're getting
Yes.
into the shorter days, right?
Yes.
So what
it
a lot
was
of
like last
yeah.
year it was like 12 hours.
Yeah.
It was like so.
So yeah,
Yes.
now we're getting
So-
back into the shorter months. So
Yes.
that also makes a difference.
Yes, and then this month too, the date will, like the hours will be changed. So
Yeah,
like,
the night
yes.
before.
Yes.
The night before we're gonna hit daylight savings time this year.
Yes. احنا بتعرفي انه الساعة بتتغير كل شهر مارس كان the 9th, right? 10.
I think
It's so Saturday night
Sunday.
into Sunday
Or
is
Saturday
when it
to
will
Sunday,
change.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 9
الساعة بتتغير
8 to
يعني
9.
احنا بنبدأ
Yeah,
الساعة.
yeah, it's so Saturday night into Sunday is when we're gonna turn the clocks in. Yeah, I got an iftar invitation a couple of days ago and she put 6:30 on it and I had to say, did you forget the time change? It's gonna be 7:30.
Yes.
So yeah, especially when breastfeeding, a lot of moms find that either, you know, it's hard for them or sometimes they alternate days, right? And so sometimes what we end up having to talk about here is there are moms that will feel guilty about not fasting and they will try to do it anyway, and sometimes, you know, they feel conflicted.
I have to go. My husband like he's waiting for me.
Sure. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for
إذا
coming.
يعني if بدك أي أسئلة أو بدك أي شيء just اتصلي علينا. Okay. شكرا لك.
Oh, شرفتونا.
She said like my husband is waiting on me.
Yeah. Okay.
بدينا نروح وهو بيشتغل هون بده يرجع لهون.
Okay. And she said like my husband needs to come back for work.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming, and
Thank you.
yes, and for your baby too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Thank
I
you.
can, if you guys want to, or yeah, if you can lead her if you want to lead her to,
Sure.
yeah, just downstairs and out that way.
And come back.
You're welcome. Yeah, thank you for coming. Yes, sounds perfect.
So we'll pause and then we'll finish the conversation amongst us.
Sounds
And then you can have your material, so
Yeah,
yeah, when they're doing
perfect.
the video, they can probably like cut this middle part
Yeah.
out, so.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
يعطيك العافية. شكرا.
الله يعافيكي. أهلا وسهلا.
Yeah. I realized later, I was like, oh, I probably should have come up there with this, but I don't know how well this was going to be seen by the video.
Yeah, that's okay. It's just some small points. But
Yeah.
yeah, so you get the idea that we're like
Mhm.
filling out with like
Yeah.
what everybody talks about here.
Yeah, for sure.
And then kind of like, you know, just kind of collecting everybody's collective experiences here.
Yeah.
Obviously like we've had like 20 people before, and you know, but it's okay. So
Yeah.
we've had years like this too
Yeah.
where when I've done it, so it's okay. But yeah, so we try to like so when they started this,
Mm-hmm.
back in 2014,
Okay.
my friend Gretchen was working here. I don't know if you
Okay.
know Gretchen.
I think I came and I think she left. I think we may have
You
overlapped
may,
by like a
yeah.
month or two, but I don't think I
Okay,
ever
yeah.
actually met her because it was in 2021.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her. She's a nurse now. She just
Oh, that's awesome.
graduated nursing school,
Oh,
so
exciting.
yeah,
Oh my
super
goodness.
excited for her. So one of the things that they were finding is that they were finding either that mothers were trying too hard to fast and then like they weren't able to continue breastfeeding. So then the WIC breastfeeding counselors were like, well, you really should keep breastfeeding.
Got
You
it.
know, and so they were, you know, or like they would have mothers coming in pregnant who were insisting to fast. Because I mean, it is a thing. Like if you're not fasting, you feel like you're missing out. Like I can't fast anymore because I have chronic migraines, and it's hard to not be fasting. Like you want so bad to be able to participate, and when you can't participate, it just breaks your heart. So sometimes, quite often even, you will see mothers who will kind of maybe be fasting when they shouldn't, or they'll be like, forget it, my milk dried up because I was fasting, I'll just switch to formula, or
And
you know.
Also one thing is really just like subjects. Do you know why they need to fast in Ramadan? Because always they think I have to fast. How we can fast 30 days after Ramadan?
Yeah, it's harder. It's harder to make up the days, because when you
see
don't
all
fast, you make
people
them up
fasting
later.
The same day,
Yeah.
it will be easy, but after that you cannot. make
Yeah,
it.
because when
You
everybody's
have to
doing
do
it together, and it's like
Right.
the holiday season,
Yeah.
like you know,
Yes.
it's so much
Yes.
easier, and it's just a whole different like
Yeah.
world. Like the world
Yeah,
changes,
you're doing it
you
by
know.
yourself
Yes.
versus
Yes.
like when everyone else is
Exactly.
doing it.
Yeah, so that's what they had talked about when they first decided to do this, that they wanted to kind of emphasize like all parts of it. Like you can
Sure.
continue to breastfeed, you know, or you can't, you know, or there are other ways you can participate in Ramadan even if you're not fasting. It's okay to not fast. It's okay to alternate days. So actually, if we're gonna restart the way we would do this, actually, right? So for another thing that comes up with women who are breastfeeding is that they often find that they can't do it every day, but they would like to participate. So a lot of moms do alternate days, and there's also nothing wrong with alternating days. So sometimes mothers will fast 2 days on and then take a break for 1 day, or do 1 day on, 1 day off. Another thing that a lot of mothers that I have worked with over the years have found helpful is like meal replacement drinks. Now a lot of those are very high in sugar, but I know that there are diabetic versions of those now that are lower in sugar. But the interesting thing about those, and the interesting thing why a lot of women find meal replacement drinks to be helpful, is because you get kind of a meal worth of protein and vitamins and minerals, and you get some hydration, but it's something that you did not cook and you don't have to clean up after. You can just grab it if you have, you know, toddlers, or you have babies, or you've got a nursing baby. It's very easy to just grab that, drink it. You don't have to prepare it. So another thing that we talk about is often in Ramadan we feel that we need to, you know, we're taking care of ourselves, we're taking care of our families, we have to cook, we sometimes have to host. So usually what we talk about here is what are some of the ways that you can make some of these burdens a little bit easier. So for example, one of the things that people talk about when possible is freezer cooking. I know that that's not possible for a lot of people who aren't able to buy in bulk, but some people do find that helpful. So they're able to freeze or cook in advance.
Yes. That's why I was talking about
Yeah.
it this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever done that? Have you ever done like freezer meals or made things in advance?
Honestly, I don't like too much eat like freeze
You
food.
prefer to eat it
Yeah.
fresh?
But this morning I was talking to Riga and I said like, let's make a day before. Like today's, like I'm work, I will make it like, use it like day before working. But it's fine. But I don't like freeze food, honestly.
Yeah. So are you able to cook like a little bit of a
Yes.
larger amount, and
Yes,
then
yes.
it lasts for
Yeah,
several
I
days?
will cook like 1 day before, like work, something like that, and then other like in the weekend I am home, so it's easy when I
Right. And how about, do you ever work with other people? So one of the other suggestions that comes up a lot is getting together with your friends and your neighbors and your community members to be able to share the task of cooking meals, or to take advantage of, you know, sometimes it's hard with little kids, but to go to the community, go to the masjid when they're offering food, and eating, you know, with other people, letting other people kind of handle the cooking. So I usually write community meals here. I know as a mom, my favorite thing in the whole world is any meal that I did not cook and I do not have to clean up after. So yeah, so sharing, so like having cooking circles with your friends.
We always like sharing food in Ramadan. Like
That's great.
like neighbors, friends, and and sometimes like in the weekend we always like going to somewhere or someone come to us. So
Yeah, especially like in different cultures, right? A huge part of Ramadan is sharing food with each other. You know, because of the saying of the Prophet that whoever gives food to somebody who is fasting to help them break their fast, you will also get the reward of their fast. So you will get the blessing of their fast. So, and that's something that we can take advantage of, right? And say, okay, we're all going to work together in our group, either in our family or in our neighborhood or our community or like the Islamic center that we attend, and be able to help each other out with the burden of, you know, keeping everybody fed and happy. What else? What are some other suggestions that you would have for helping with community? You know, and sometimes we've had people come in and talk about how they have set boundaries about hosting. So some people do feel overwhelmed. Some others do feel very overwhelmed about expectations around hosting, and that they have had to work to set some boundaries and say, you know what, this year I'm only hosting one time. Maybe it's when you're, you know, menstruating, and so you're not fasting anyway, or, you know, you pick a day when, for whatever reason, you're not fasting, and kind of use that time to do your one big hosting event of
and
the year.
sometimes we just like meet and then we do potluck. It's help a lot.
Potlucks, yes.
Sometimes like that's what we do. You have to just make one thing and then it's easy.
Try to limit hosting, and of course, like again, we don't want to say you're never going to host, because you want to feel part of the community. You want to have, you know, your family and have everyone get together and enjoy that. So the other point that I have down here is your spiritual life, and I have this point for the moms who still want to be able to participate, right? So we've talked about how if you're unable to fast in Ramadan, you feel like you're missing out, like you feel it makes people feel guilty, but it really feels like you're not fully experiencing Ramadan, right? So we've talked a little bit about alternating fast days, and there is absolutely no shame in that. If you want to participate but you don't feel that you can fast all of the days, alternating days is always a choice. What are some other things that people do, like when they're unable to fast? What are some of the other ways that they feel like they can participate in Ramadan? You have to perform. Right, because there are other things that people get to do besides fasting, right? So some people will do like readings of the Quran, or they will play the audio, right? And so they can like, I'm old enough that I want to play tape, play the audio recording, helping people to cook and eat, right? So sharing meals. Charity is another way that people participate in Ramadan when they're unable to fast. I'm a big fan of decorating. When my children were little, not many people decorated. Now you can go to the store and you can buy decorations, you can buy lights. I like putting up, you know, like lanterns, or, you know, buy Christmas lights on clearance after Christmas, you know, and hang those up. So anything you can do to change your environment and make it look happy and joyful, right? That can help. doing things to, you know, help the kids feel excited
Yes.
about Ramadan.
Yeah, they know. So it's in our event and then it's holiday. It's helped a lot. Like my kids now, he's like 3 years old and he knows like what's like, where are we gonna put the light? Where are we gonna put this one? He's so like Ramadan is coming. Okay, let's go. So it's hard to keep them like, we are not celebrating Christmas. It's okay. We don't have Christmas, but we have Ramadan. We have Eid. It's fine. That's my husband. Like my son said, when is Ramadan coming? I want to do decoration. I want to do this. Okay, Ramadan is coming. Oh, really? Let's do it in the weekend. I said, okay, yes, let's do it in the
That's what I'm
weekend.
saying. How old is he?
3 years. But he knows everything. He is so smart.
Mashallah,
Like, he's always asking me like, why we cannot put in our like tree in home? I was like, no, it's not our like religion. We cannot celebrate Christmas, but we have another thing that we gotta celebrate. Okay, when? When is coming? Okay, it's coming in Ramadan. It's coming in Eid, and then said like, okay, how many months I have to wait now? It's like, okay, it's coming now. Really? Let's do it. And he's remember about everything. It's like now it's like we have to put like the light. We have like put something in the door, like in the front door. He knows everything. Right.
That's beautiful. So yeah, so that's a really important way that even if someone's not able to fast, you know, you can still make an environment feel like you're participating in Ramadan in other ways, and then involve the kids, right?
Yes.
And they're gonna remember that growing up.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any questions or anything that you think should be added up here? And feel free to add your own ideas because, you know, and again, if we had more people here, we would have had probably a little bit more of a lively discussion where I would be putting everybody's ideas up here. But as you can see, our takeaway point for today is that there are ways that you can make sure that you can fully participate in Ramadan while keeping yourself and your baby healthy, right? Feeling like you're fully participating in the spiritual and community life of Ramadan, and also balancing the ways that we know that, you know, we often have to take care of ourselves and our families and our children and participate in our community. And again, you know, as I stated at the beginning, Ramadan is not about suffering. Ramadan is a joyful time, and it is okay if you need to make adjustments to the way you observe Ramadan so that you can connect all of these dots. And you know, you don't want to have a flat, you don't want a flat triangle, right? So that is okay, and there's many ways to stay healthy in Ramadan, and you know, your needs may change from year to year. And hopefully everyone can apply some of the lessons we have learned today and have a beautiful Ramadan.
Thank you so much.